In the world of construction, ambition is everything. Skyscrapers that reach for the heavens, tunnels that carve through mountains, and bridges that defy gravity. But some projects seem destined for disaster, struck by delays, tragedies, and bizarre misfortunes. Were they plagued by human error? Or, as some might whisper, cursed from the start? These are the world's most cursed construction projects. The Panama Canal, a path through hell. Few engineering projects in history have been as ambitious or as disastrous as the Panama Canal. The idea was simple: cut a path through Central America, linking the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. The execution, however, was anything but simple. The French were the first to attempt this monumental task in 1881, under the leadership of Ferdinand de Lesseps, the man who had successfully built the Suez Canal. But the Panamanian jungle was no Egyptian desert. The canal's route was plagued by heavy rains, landslides, and an overwhelming presence of disease. Malaria and yellow fever swept through the workforce like wildfire. Workers toiled in sweltering heat, often with rudimentary tools. Many died, and their bodies were buried along the route. It's estimated that over 22,000 workers perished during the French effort alone. The tragedy wasn't just human. The French project collapsed under financial strain, leaving behind a ruined reputation and an incomplete canal. It wasn't until the United States took over in 1904 that the canal was eventually finished, but even then, the death toll climbed higher. The cost in human lives and suffering earned the Panama Canal its infamous reputation, a project cursed by greed, hubris, and nature itself. Ryugyong Hotel, North Korea's Tower of Doom. In the late 1980s, North Korea was determined to showcase its power and modernity. The Ryugyong Hotel was their answer, a 105-story skyscraper shaped like a futuristic pyramid. It was meant to be the tallest hotel in the world, a symbol of the country's technological and architectural prowess. But instead, it became a monument to failure. Construction began in 1987, but almost immediately, the project ran into trouble. North Korea's economy was spiraling, and resources were scarce. By 1992, work had stopped entirely, leaving the building as an empty, hollow shell. For over 2 decades, it stood abandoned, a glaring reminder of the regime's overambition. The design itself was flawed. Engineers later discovered that the structure wasn't even safe for occupancy. Attempts were made to revive the project, including a facelift in 2008, but the hotel remains largely unused. To this day, it's derided as the Hotel of Doom, a cursed project that serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of hubris. The Sagrada Familia, God's perpetual project. In the heart of Barcelona, the Sagrada Familia rises like a monument to divine inspiration. Designed by the visionary architect Antoni Gaudí, it is one of the most ambitious religious buildings ever attempted. Construction began in 1882, and over 140 years later, it is still unfinished. Gaudí dedicated the last years of his life entirely to the project, living in near poverty as he poured his soul into the basilica. But his untimely death in 1926 left the project without its guiding hand. Since then, the Sagrada Familia has faced countless setbacks, from funding shortages to the Spanish Civil War, which destroyed many of Gaudí's original plans. Today, the basilica is a blend of old and new, with modern architects interpreting Gaudí's vision. While it draws millions of visitors, some locals whisper that the project is cursed, that it was never meant to be completed. Others argue that its perpetual construction is part of its beauty, a living testament to human devotion and creativity. The São Paulo Metro, subway to nowhere. In the 1960s, São Paulo was a city on the rise, a bustling metropolis in desperate need of a reliable transportation system. The metro was supposed to solve the city's traffic woes, but from the beginning, the project was plagued by problems. Corruption scandals siphoned funds, delays piled up, and accidents claimed lives. The most infamous incident occurred in 2007, when a tunnel under construction collapsed, killing 7 people and destroying nearby homes. The tragedy shocked the nation and exposed severe flaws in the project's planning and execution. Despite continued efforts to expand the metro, it remains a work in progress. Today, millions of commuters face long delays and overcrowded trains, while the city's traffic problem remains unsolved. For many, the São Paulo Metro is a symbol of broken promises, a project that, despite its potential, seems cursed to disappoint. The Berlin-Brandenburg Airport, a never-ending delay. It was supposed to be a symbol of modern German efficiency, an airport that would showcase state-of-the-art design and streamline air travel in Europe. Instead, the Berlin-Brandenburg Airport became an international embarrassment, plagued by delays, budget overruns, and endless scandals. Construction began in 2006, with an ambitious plan to open the airport in 2011. But as the opening day approached, it became clear that something was deeply wrong. During final inspections, glaring issues emerged. Electrical systems were faulty, fire safety mechanisms didn't meet regulations, and design flaws caused structural problems. The opening was postponed again and again. Each delay cost millions of euros, and the airport's budget ballooned from 2 billion euros to over 7 billion. Meanwhile, the project became a laughingstock. By the time Berlin-Brandenburg Airport finally opened in 2020, nearly a decade late, it was already outdated and operating below its capacity. Many questioned if the airport was cursed by hubris, an overly ambitious design plagued by incompetence and corruption. To this day, it stands as a cautionary tale of how even the most promising projects can spiral into disaster. The Big Dig, Boston's billion-dollar blunder. In the 1980s, Boston faced a massive problem. Its elevated Central Artery Highway was congested, outdated, and a blight on the city's skyline. The solution? The Big Dig, a massive project to bury the highway underground and reconnect the city with its waterfront. What was meant to be an engineering marvel turned into one of the costliest and most controversial infrastructure projects in U.S. history. Construction began in 1991 with an initial budget of $2.8 billion. But almost immediately, problems arose. Unexpected geological conditions delayed tunneling. Contractors uncovered historical artifacts that required preservation, and design changes pushed costs higher. By the time the project was completed in 2007, its price tag had soared to over $15 billion, making it the most expensive highway project in U.S. history. The troubles didn't end there. In 2006, a section of the tunnel's ceiling collapsed, killing a motorist and sparking outrage. Water leaks, faulty materials, and lawsuits plagued the Big Dig long after its completion. Critics called it cursed, a perfect storm of ambition, mismanagement, and corruption. Today, the Big Dig has transformed Boston, reconnecting the city with its waterfront and improving traffic flow. But the scars of its construction remain, a reminder of the staggering cost of dreaming big and the price of getting it wrong. Share your thoughts below. Which of these tales do you believe was truly cursed? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories of ambition, mystery, and disaster.